Okay, so we're going to get started. This is session 24. Last session, we were dealing with the blowout from Lysander's attempted suicide. All of you kind of dealt with this in your own way. In particular, Aramil, who described himself as losing his spirit, broke his staff, and left the city. He encountered a friend from his past, Navu, if I remember her name correctly, who had a brief conversation with him and offered him a pearl, which in the Sea Elf culture is a proposal. He had a dream and some meditation that gave him a little insight into his history with Lysander that he didn't realize he knew he even had. And then Mina came along and convinced him to return to Amon. During that time, Zane was making a lot of progress in his path to become king. He spent some time researching Ghent. He made some dealings with the Bank of Amon, and he spoke to the maid Mary, who had been a servant in Ghent's household, was abused by her and apparently pregnant by him, or excuse me, abused by him and apparently pregnant at this point. And he was able to kind of bribe her to give him some information on the Ghent household. And then the group of you all together went to the menagerie, where you had a really good time looking at all the different animals, especially Charlene, who was on a date with 10-year-old Bailey, who was having the time of his life escorting the beautiful Charlene around, showing her off to everyone. You guys saw all kinds of amazing animals, even those of you who, have done some traveling like Aramil, and even those of you who have been around saw a lot of things you haven't seen before, including griffins. Kamara and Kastiyama took a ride on a triceratops. And near the end of your encounter at the menagerie, you met a quaddle cat who was very intelligent, spoke to Charlene, and told you that her kits had been stolen from her near the town of Gore, which was between here and Craghammer. And you found out that the menagerie would offer quite a reward for the rescue of these kits. So the group of you have spent the afternoon surrounded by all these wild animals, well behaved, able to touch and pet, and just really kind of get to know these. After finishing that, you return to the llama. You have about a 2-hour break before the fashion show begins. When you get to the llama, Minxie hands you Zane a note from Mina telling you exactly where to go. You're supposed to meet her at the Uriel Tal'dorei Memorial Theater, which is in the Cloudtop District, about 2 hours from now. And she says, "Come clean, please."
I shall relay the information to everybody else.
Minxie also hands you another note. And this one is from Magnus. You read it to find out that he has made a decision to find his daughter. With Freya on the loose, he's concerned that she is in danger and for whatever reason has decided to leave the city and pursue his daughter.
I also relay that information.
Well, that's good he's doing that. You gotta find your family. And I give Castellano a big hug.
She coos at you, and you realize in the fish she has a feather from some poor animal that she managed to pull it off of. It's a pretty feather, though. It's blue and green.
Could I tell which animal it came from?
Probably a peacock.
Makes sense.
Detect magic! It could be a spy!
Finding your family.
Kamara, Minxie also hands you a letter.
Take it.
And it
Now
just has
read
your
it.
name on it. You actually recognize the handwriting. And the handwriting is from Madame Lourdes, who you are very familiar with. She was the Madame of the Open Lily back when you worked there, when you were still in your prime, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the letter details to you that she knows she hasn't contacted you in a while, but she has a client who has come in from overseas, and it's a foreigner, and he's offering 1,500 gold pieces for the most exotic woman in Amman. And she suggests that you might be interested in this, and if so, to appear at the Open Lily tomorrow night.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the letters. What are you guys going to do for the next couple hours?
I call dibs bathing first.
As Zane runs to the only supply of water, which is what I've heard, bringing water in a barrel to another room and yourself off with it, or jumping into the barrel. Aramel's gonna tell everyone that he needs to go find some very specific plants, and that he'll be back in a couple hours before they are needed. Fashion show.
Do you need help finding the plants?
Actually, I'd appreciate it. I am cutting it pretty close here.
Okay, yeah, I figured my help would probably be good at that. You just gotta tell me what you're looking for, and I could see how much I could help.
It's
Okay, so
nothing.
Aramel and Charlene are leaving. Zane makes a beeline for the bathtub, which, by the way, is in the courtyard, the back courtyard of the llama. It is like a big steel tub. It's probably got room for about 2 people. But the way it works is it's heated by like a furnace, so like underneath. So it's almost like a stew pot, but it's made in a way where it can't really overheat. So you can turn it on and get it warmed up, and the water will warm up after like 20 minutes or so. So Zane makes a beeline that direction. And Kamara, as the room kind of empties and everyone goes their separate directions, Greer comes out and approaches you. The inn is not open yet. Minxie told you guys yesterday that this is a really busy day for her, and you can hear the sounds of her in the kitchen, just kind of clattering away and surprisingly to you, cursing every once in a while. It's not Minxie's norm, but she's obviously very stressed out. You hear Bailey going in and trying to tell his mom all about the menagerie, and she's like, yeah, barely listening as she's trying to get everything ready for tonight. Greer comes out. He's obviously been helping Minxie in the kitchen, but he's better dressed than usual. And he smiles when he sees you and comes over and gives you a hug.
Hello.
How was it? Did she have fun? And he's talking about Castiana.
Yes, she did. She had a great time. We went on Triceratops. It was super fun.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah.
At least you guys didn't come home with any animals. Minxie was a little afraid.
We almost did, but we're gonna save a baby kitten.
Okay, just don't bring it back here. Do you have a second?
Yes, I mean, there's no one around, so.
He kind of, either way, he kind of pulls you into the hallway. Look, I've been thinking. You know, my commission expires in about 2 months. Minxie's been really busy here. I've been thinking about retiring and just helping her out. And I guess what I'm asking is, are you interested in sticking around? He flushes bright red when he says that.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
What if I gave you a reason to? And he starts reaching into his pocket.
That's a little much right now. I just got out of something.
But I mean, we've been together every night since I got back. I thought,
You know what I did before, right?
I know. And it's a chance for you to be honest. You wouldn't have to do that anymore.
But I liked doing it.
He seems a little shocked by that. But you wouldn't have to.
Right, but the only way this would work is if you let me do that. If I could do that with anybody. It wouldn't be just you and me.
He looks crushed. That kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
A little. I thought since you knew who I was, it would be fine if we did that, but if you want more monogamy, I can't offer that right now.
He is like staring down at his pocket.
I'm sorry.
Okay. And he just walks away. Poor Kamara. What are you doing now?
Is there anyone near me? Close by?
I mean, Minxie's in the kitchen with the kids, but he just went that way.
What about Zane bathing? He's not that far.
True.
I'm gonna find Charles.
So you would have seen Charlene and Aramil going out the door. You might be able to catch up with them.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Okay, so you kind of hold Castiama and tell me exactly how you're exiting the inn. I want this mental picture.
Okay. I'm in the hallway and I just kind of hurry out a little bit, walk a little faster than normal, but I'm acting like nothing happened at the same time.
Okay.
Well, yeah. While making sure that no one's around.
Okay. You're able to catch up with the others. So where are the three of you headed?
Aramil is headed to the outskirts of town. He needs a good amount of twine, ivy, and some berries.
Okay.
Specifically, berries that are as dark as night, but not necessarily a famous one.
I'm not sure I understand what you're looking for, but go ahead and make a survival check. You can either each make a survival check or you can do it with advantage.
I will help Charlene then.
Okay.
As Aramil starts listing these what ranges from an oddly general thing, just twine, to something pretty specific, dark berries.
Okay, it takes you a little bit of time, but Charlene eventually leads you to a patch of these dark berries. What are we looking for exactly, Aaron? Do they have a name?
There are multiple that could work. The most dangerous would obviously be Nightshade, but he's not looking for Nightshade specifically. Just looking for like actually dark colored berries.
Okay, so what you end up finding is like a blackberry patch.
Yeah, that's perfect. He
So, what do you need these plants for?
To be honest, I've been thinking of attempting my family's craft. He sort of pounds on his right side where the body tattoo is present. I'm not trained, so it only pretty crude, but with both ivy and crushed dark berries, I should be able to put this marking on someone.
Putting a marking on them?
Yeah, like this tattoo.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
It's a secret ritual only known by some. Take something as eating as juice and turn it into a marking that reflects your bodily state.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Well, not very good at it. That's why I did end up focusing on that when I was studying. But I learned the process so I can give it a shot at the very least.
So it takes you about 10-15 minutes to harvest what you need, but you're able to collect everything.
And then on top of that, he grabs twine and on the way back starts very obviously rolling them into rings.
Kamara Kastiyama is enjoying blackberries. She likes these a lot. She eats a few of them, and then when she's full, she starts spitting them out like little bullets.
Aim it at him.
At me?
Yes.
He's gonna dodge them.
Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Feeling that there is a sudden attack, he jumps out of the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not even gonna roll for the 1-year-old. She doesn't manage to hit you, but she manages to splatter all down the front of her shirt.
Since I'm sure they do 0 damage, I'm sure that you could mechanically just catch at least one every 6 seconds.
That's true. I can deflect them, but I don't even want to touch them.
That's also fair.
Okay, are you guys doing anything else?
Does Kamara look like visually upset or anything?
She looks less put together, I guess. She doesn't look upset. It's just kind of like awkward. More, different.
Sheldon doesn't realize anything's wrong.
Do you want to make an insight? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Of course, now is when. Oh no, I'm sorry, Kamara.
It's all good.
Well, I'm happy that you ran to catch up to us. I actually was thinking of talking to Vale Aaron tonight.
Would you like me to go with you?
You know, I think your presence there would help me a lot. But
Okay.
only if you would like.
Yeah.
I was gonna go right after we're done with the fashion show, as it's called.
That's the plan then.
Okay, so you guys start making your way back to the llama.
Yeah. Are there
I
like
I take I'm really slow.
are there like streams or any like flowing water or anything? Like
I
yeah.
mean, technically, you guys could make your way along the beach back into the city if you want to go back in through the dockyard.
Preferably I'm more asking about fresh water than necessarily salt water.
Sure, you'd have to go out of your way about 15 minutes, which would really only leave you about 30 minutes to wash up before the fashion show, but it's doable.
Well, does that sound like the extra time that you wanted to spend, Kamara?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Um and is Aramel, are you going to head back there straight or are you gonna
He's following you, and he's making bands out of the twine.
okay.
One of them is a small band.
So when we get to the stream, Charlotte gonna say, I don't know about you guys, but I think that this will be more efficient than fighting with Zane for bath time. And she's just gonna go to the water and start using Shape of Water to like pull water up and essentially just clean and dry with water, getting dirt and everything off.
So you guys watch as what she does is she basically creates like a fountain effect where the water comes up and then falls back down as a waterfall.
You should do that again. That's really good.
Yeah, she'll pretty much just continually be using Shape clean herself, and if Kamara and Aramel are like, yeah, and go into it, she'll do it for them too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kamara,
is
this might be a little awkward for you, the city girl. Um, the idea of undressing out in nature and bathing. I don't know if you are going to undress, but either way, um, you're used to magic, but you're just out in kind of the middle of an open field.
Undressing is undressing.
Kamara just starts taking it all off, unfazed by the rest of you, apparently.
See, the way I was picturing it is Charlene is doing that like fully clothed, just magicking the water through herself and like, and then like making sure that it like cleans her, and then pulling the water out, drying, including her self. So like I really like the idea that she's doing it fully clothed, and then Kamara's like, oh wait, no, I got this, and just takes everything off.
and brings a blackberry seed covered Castellama with her.
Of course. Yes.
I'm like,
She does not take up Castellama's clothes. She does what Sherlyn does for Castellama.
Aramel, how are you reacting to this?
Aramel's gonna give them their privacy by closing his eyes, also dressing down to his undershorts, and then going into the river to give them some space. He tries to remember where the river is and walks towards it until he feels water, and then he goes under and then opens his eyes once he's able to, duck his head.
Yeah, and this isn't anything new for you, Aramel. With all the traveling you've done, you're quite used to taking dips in ponds and streams to.
Pretty sure he's used it more than the bath.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay, so with a little bit of effort and a little bit of time, you guys are able to get yourselves clean. Zane, what are you doing? Anything in particular?
Nothing specific, just cleaning off.
I sort of, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I sort of picture Zane having much more of a like ritual.
That
He's
is
way
true.
more focused, on like cleaning the line of his. Does he have a goatee? I think he has a goatee, doesn't he?
I think it's more just stubble. Let me check the
Okay.
picture.
Well, I see him just really like, trimming his nails and being way more meticulous than the rest of the group.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's lived a life that has taught him how to look appropriate.
Okay. So is anyone doing anything else?
Aramil on the way back is okay with walking as slowly as Kamara wants, focused on making more of these twine bands.
You should send the GM a whisper and tell me exactly what you're doing with those, if you would.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys make it back to the llama. You have maybe 15 minutes to spare. If there's anything else you want to do, please let me know. We're going to move forward. Okay. So you guys gather your party. And sorry.
Aramil, before they all leave to go to the fashion show, going to reach into his backpack, like object where he keeps his bedroll, and pull out some of the completed. They're sort of like twine bangles. They're a little rough around the edges, but at the very least they are not extremely tight. He gives them to Kamara and Charlene and says, I think it would be nice if we could all have another meal together. All of us. If you don't mind, I made something as a reminder that we have had and once again we'll all eat together.
Well, when you say bangles, are these like rings or are they
No,
bracelets?
they're like
Or-
bracelets.
So are they like braided, kind of like friendship bracelets? Or
Yes, they're friendship bracelets made out of twine.
I put the French bracelet on. And yes, Aramel will eat together more.
yeah. Charlene also.
That sounds very nice, Irma.
And Airmail will put one on too. And he says, as long as we have this, no matter what happens, I'll be able to come together once more like we did the other day and eat together.
you guys get the impression that maybe this has a little bit more of a ritualistic meaning to him than it does to the three of you.
But I'll put it on anyways.
Okay, make sure you note that in your inventory. And
Asiyama too, or just Kamara?
He also has a very small one for Kastiyama.
Okay.
It almost looks more like a large ring almost because of the size.
you tie it on her, Kamara, and she kind of looks at it and then immediately starts chewing on it.
Well, they are natural.
It's tied, so she can't pull it off. It's not a danger, but she's teething and she's really enjoying it.
Very nice of you. Kind of neat. Two toys.
Speaking
Well,
of
That sounded weird.
Kastiyama, are you bringing her with you to the passion show?
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so the four of you make your way back out into the streets. Things are really starting to ramp up now. There's vendors setting up booths all over the place. There's smells in the air that you guys don't recognize, sugary smells, salty smells, just, kind of getting ready for the fair. Kamara, this is all very familiar to you. In the past, you've really enjoyed these festivals. Everyone, I need your passive perception.
15.
18.
13.
15.
Okay. So as you're making your way to the Cloud Top District, all of you have a kind of startled where on the edge of your vision you see a familiar face. Not one you ever wanted to see again, but it's the face of Freya. And as kind of a group, you turn and look, and you realize that this is actually a flyer that has been posted on the wall. And looking around, you notice that there's quite a few of them. But it has Freya's likeness painted on it, and it's offering a reward for any information. Do you go to inspect it?
I don't.
I'll just say, good. Now more people will recognize her if she tries to come back into the city.
There's a couple other flyers hanging next to it. There's a woman with kind of curly hair and kind of a sour, dry.
Do we recognize any of the other people?
No, the woman with the dry look, her the name Jessica Valip, and it's offering a reward of like 200 gold pieces for her capture. She's wanted for smuggling. And most of these flyers are offering minor sums, but there is another one that catches your attention. And it's not a very helpful flyer. It's just a picture of what appears to be a man in a hood. And it says, wanted, the Kingslayer.
Wanted the Kingslayer.
The Kingslayer. And it's offering an award of 15,000 gold pieces.
And the Kingslayer is all of the information that's there?
The only other information that it has is to report to Jacob Lannis with any information. And again, the flyer is very frustrating because literally the only thing you can see is a hooded man.
Well, that's not very helpful. Trying to find a faceless person. Maybe we can talk to Lannis about it. See if maybe he has more info.
Yeah, and the Kingslayer, the last king that we had was killed by a dragon, wasn't it?
Yes.
So what king could have been slayed?
Hmm.
This cloaked figure doesn't seem like a dragon to me.
It's very curious. What do you say when this is all over? We visit Linus and ask about
Yeah.
Just some stuff going on behind the scenes. Okay, so Charlene, when you talk about the king being slain by the dragon, you kind of see the corners of Zane's eyes twitch and he looks upset for a second.
Okay.
Okay, so are you guys doing anything else?
Also, I mean, since I'm looking at these, I'm gonna I guess I'll inspect Freya's wanted poster a bit more.
Okay. It has general information, nothing specific. It says her name, her appearance, that she was last seen in the city of Amon. Her whereabouts are unknown. And again, any information leading to her capture is worth a sum of 7,000 gold pieces.
That's quite a low amount for. Well,
In comparison, it's actually quite a decent amount. What it makes you realize is that the amount being offered for this other person, this Kingslayer, is extreme.
I got.
If you guys would like to pull a flyer off the wall, you're welcome to.
I'll pull the one of the Kingslayer flyers off the.
See, I think that 7,000 still kind of seems like a small amount because they're like, oh, trying to attack a council member and failing. That's a bond of like more than 10,000. But you actually murder a council member, that's only 7,000. That's Sheldon's thought, at least.
You
She's
guys
like,
kind
wow,
of have that
stingy.
discussion as you're making your way to the gates into the Cloud Top district.
Yeah.
I guess it's no hard feelings if it doesn't if the murder is thwarted by divine intervention.
I guess that's true.
Which I find is pretty dumb. Everybody in this town dies every day, or people die in this town every day. None of them get resurrected.
Well, that's the other thing. I feel like the resurrection itself is costly in an amount that 7,000 for Freya seems small.
And now that I think about it, it, it happened really quickly. I mean, by the time I got back that night, I heard word from you that she was brought back. It's like they had planned on it happening.
Well, when it happened, I assume it's what happens when you have friends in high places, because the the savior, at least some of the saviors of the world, came and did it. Like that's what happens when you are powerful and have powerful friends.
Charlene, you remember seeing Gilmore and the portals that he created
Yeah.
and realize that Zane has no clue about any of that.
Well, either way, pulling strings that soon after someone's death, I find it odd. But only slight suspicion. let's not think of such things.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
about to
like
embarrass
even
ourselves.
even Magnus is able to send a message, and if you could just send a message to someone like Gilmore, who was able to teleport all of the people needed to come and do it, it actually, to people as powerful as them, seems kind of easy.
I mean, didn't we have a discussion about how much planning and money and rare items and just everything that was needed to resurrect someone?
For people like us, but Vox Machina, some of their members were there. If they could take down someone trying to become a god, they could bring people back easily.
Well, I'm sure they have their own stock of these rare items in case of trouble.
Yeah.
I wonder how much they do have.
You guys have made your way through the gates into the Cloud Top District, which are open today. All of the populace is allowed into the more fine areas of the city. The sun is still high. It's about 4 p.m. It's not going to be dark until maybe 8:30. But there's still a lot of people who are rising. Most everyone has slept in today, preparing to stay up throughout the night. The Cloud Top District is absolutely draped in decoration, almost to the point of being gaudy. There's streamers that are going from lamppost to lamppost that are covered in glittery silver stars and crescent moons. There's bakery stalls and vendors popping up all over the place, and it's actually quite beautiful. You make your way through the Cloud Top District until you are standing before the gates of the Uriel Tal'dorei Memorial Theater. And this is a very interesting building. It's actually set near the base of the Sky Tower, which is the very large tower that houses the single airship owned by the city of Amman. It's a tall tower. It stands maybe 70, 80 feet in the air. The only other tower or tall building that could even compare to it is Alora's Tower, which is kind of a white gleaming tower that's off in the distance, a little bit to the left. But this theater is again at the base of the skyport, and it's built in a fashion where there's like an inner portion of the theater, and then there's an outer portion, which is beautifully done in marble and kind of like water pools. It's like an open air theater on the outside, and then the stage is covered and then goes into a back area, which at this point is where you guys are heading. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going around, and you are directed to the inner part of the theater. Okay, so as you enter, there are 3 signs. One of them is pointing down the middle, one of them is pointing to the left, and one of them is pointing to the right. You guys are backstage right now, basically. And you realize that there's names on all 3 of these signs. The one pointing to the right is Renalis. It appears that there's more than one fashion designer here tonight. And there are models wandering around, a lot of them half naked. There's a lot of chaos going. There's clothes all over the floor. There's people doing each other's makeup and each other's hair. And it's just a very loud, chaotic, and quite revealing scene.
Well, I guess we must go right then. Zane's gonna follow the sign to Mina.
Okay.
Irmil
So-
sort of cranes his head to look around as he's stretching. get an idea for what this place is like. So this
Yeah,
is
that's what he's looking at.
so this is where we present ourselves.
It's just a fashion show.
Okay, so you guys followed. Sorry, go ahead.
It seems like more than what I was expecting.
It's a little too obvious, isn't it not? Wouldn't it be better to show ourselves off in something more simple and plain and natural than on such a wide stage with gold flare?
I wouldn't know.
Okay, so you guys are walking in. Mina rushes up to you guys. Hi, hi, hi. I'm so glad you're here. She
Wait, wait.
glances around before you can even say anything. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And she grabs like a blanket and tosses it over your head, Aramil, and then grabs you over by your shoulders. She's like, quick, come this way before he sees you. Hurry up, come on. I'll be back for the rest of you.
Do we just wait here?
Yeah, just wait there. I'll be back. She says as her voice kind of fades into the distance as she's dragging Aramil off.
Aramil goes along with it, shuffling along as he can't see. He says, Nina, what are you doing? This is
Shh. I just hang on before he sees you. Get back here.
Aramil
So
just quietly follows her.
Zane, Kamara, and Charlene, you're kind of left standing awkwardly with people milling around you as she drags him away, and she drags him behind this like curtained area. Aramil, she gets you back there and pulls off the blanket. Whew, that was close.
Close to what? Honestly, Mina,
Oh,
you're being a little mysterious.
that's me, full of mystery.
Well, of
She kind
mystery
of,
for sure, maybe something else too, like compassion. He smiles.
oh, aren't you charming?
Thanks again, by the way. I actually have something for you and for everyone else. You might see it tonight. Reaches into his sack and pulls out the twine bracelet. For all of us that ate together, I would like to eat together once more. So if you'd bear this as a promise to once again, in the future, sometime, eat with everyone.
Aw, that's so sweet. She
Is it
puts it
sweet?
on.
It's just
Of
something I
course it
wanted to
is.
do.
Well, all I have to say is if the eating involves Minxie's cooking, I'm happy to eat any.
Well, I hope it's Minxie's pie and not mine for sure.
She gives a laugh and slips the bracelet on. And then she looks you up and down. Okay. She chews on her lip a little bit, like she's really looking you over hardcore. I don't know if it makes Aramil uncomfortable or not. And then eventually she snaps her fingers. Aha. Okay, I've got it. She goes and retrieves an outfit, which in its shape and composition is actually not too different from what you wear every day. The difference is the material that it's made of. And immediately you can tell that she's really kind of captured the essence of you, because while this outfit is beautiful, it's also practical, and it's kind of water themed. Like it's a vest and pants, but the colors remind you of the sand and the beach. There's a little bit of decoration on it, like a couple pearls here and there, just as accents and buttons and things like that. But it's just the way that it's kind of stitched together. There's a little bit of embroidery that kind of reminds you of waves. And it's kind of an all neutral, like tans and light blues. And she hands it over to you and says, "Time to change," and turns around.
Aramil will slip into it. Hopefully it's not tight fitting, and after adorning the top and bottom, he's going to give it a test kick.
It holds up pretty well. You can tell it isn't, although it's thoughtful and she tried to design it for you, it's not really the best like fighting gear. But the fabric is different from anything that you've ever worn before. It's actually comfortable. It feels really smooth against your skin.
It's not as it's not quite like how I imagined it. Much better.
Really? She turns around, looks really happy.
Aramil will strike a fighting pose. He'll then flex and pull out his staff. What do you think?
Oh, no. Put that away. That's
No?
Put your
No.
staff away, Aramel.
All right.
You already had that discussion with her.
No. That could, yeah. No. Fashion, Aramel, not fighting, fashion. She steps back and kind of looks you over again and is thinking, okay, just a few more things. Remember, you love me, right?
Okay. Whatever you need.
So she spends the next few minutes working on your the first thing she does is she basically oils you up.
Aramil goes to his meditative calm place and just ignores what's happening to him.
So you're very shiny. Aramel, this is a little disgusting. Do you realize that your muscles have muscles?
He opens his eyes. What does that mean?
Like, look at you.
He looks down at himself. It looks fine. Is something wrong?
She pokes your bicep.
I guess not then. And he'll sort of like flex it as it's poked, so it becomes really hard.
Disgusting in a good way.
A little different from most of the books that you've lent me, but some of the characters did seem to have physiques like this.
Of course, but that's in a book.
It's true.
Easy for someone to achieve that in a book.
Well, what I've read at least, if you tend to use a bow, your body becomes more lithe and loses the shape. But if you focus on one or two-handed weaponry and focus on strength training, you end up being able to shape your body differently. It puts more force into your blows.
She looks like she's losing interest.
Hey, I promise it's really interesting. I can explain the theory of upper body strength versus finesse. It will only take maybe 3 years of your time. He says this with a
we
serious
can discuss
face,
that
but
later.
a joking tone.
Talk all you want while I do your hair. And
Alright.
she takes out your braid.
This is probably the most shocking change for Aramil. He just always has it tied up like that. He sort of almost zones out, not like a meditative zoning things out. He's just so surprised that he's almost caught like unawares.
She spends a little time kind of brushing it out and figuring out how she wants to style it while you're just sitting there kind of in a duh. And then as a last touch, she tells you to close your eyes and she puts some eyeliner on you. which is a very, very uncomfortable experience if you've never had it done.
I
Kind of
used
feels
to
like
do
she's gonna,
theater.
yeah. So you know what it's like.
Oh yeah, Aramil knows that he's supposed to stay calm, but it's such a new sensation that he invariably blinks a little bit and gets some of the gets his eye a little poked. Ah,
She ends up grabbing your jaw and holding you still. So we probably should have talked about the whole leaving thing. I know I told you that it wasn't okay. But to be honest, my thighs were burning. I really wanted to get home and get in a bath. So what happened?
Aramil's face, he tries to hide his surprise and gives her like a strange look, like Nina doesn't know something. Have you not heard what happened to Lysander?
I heard that much, but I don't understand. I mean, why did you leave?
I had to find my strength once again. You know, if you feel, if something happens to you and you feel like you can't do anything, especially on your own, you return to that place. The one place where you can be strong until you're ready to come back out. Like a turtle going back into its shell. I
Like
just,
home?
something like home. It's not always home. It's that place. I just needed to go back there in order to get my strength back. But it came to me. Navu was someone who trained beside me as I was finishing my my balanced of uh, my way of the Lutong training.
She seemed rather perky.
Well, that would make sense. Her clan specializes in strength of spirit. You can almost feel it radiating from her. Meditating with her is one of the most intense experiences I've ever had.
Eh, I wasn't really feeling it, but okay.
Did you meditate with her?
Well, no. Meditation? Not really my forte.
Don't knock it till you try it. I learned that one from a book recently. I've never heard that expression used till now.
Oh, I remember that scene. And she glances around and says, probably not one we should discuss right here.
Yeah, I've learned while it's the books you lent me were informative, it makes some people uncomfortable to talk about it.
I know, isn't that strange? I think it's a culture thing, you know. We elves are pretty open about those things.
I think it makes sense. Well, when you live for as long as we do, it doesn't really matter. Like being embarrassed is something that doesn't happen as much.
Okay, so are you ready to see?
Sure?
She pulls you up out of the chair, and then you realize that she has like a vanity kind of thing with a mirror. Actually, it's more like a full length mirror, and she has a blanket over it, and she pulls it off so you can see yourself. And it's a pretty stunning transformation. You're definitely very shiny. Like anyone who looks at you, the first thing they're going to notice is your physique. But the eyeliner that she's put on you is like a almost like a glittery gold, and it really kind of brings out the hazel in your eye. And then she has your hair down and kind of swept to one side, and you look really nice. Probably not something that you would ever do again on your own, but you have to admit, it's a pretty damn good job.
Aramil's not a fan of the gaudy colors, but mostly just accents. So he gives it over and looks at himself in the mirror. It's quite impressive, Mina.
I know. So you remember those books?
You mean the ones that I've read? I haven't forgotten them. It hasn't been that long.
I know. I'm just, bringing it to the forefront of your mind.
Sure. What about them?
Well, nothing. Let's just, yeah, you can go back to the others now. So come on.
Sure.
You guys.
Aramil walks and the hair sort of, is it tied or is it
No, it's
open?
down and it's
All right.
loose.
He walks in a little bit of a strange gaunt, and like it starts fluttering as he's moving, and it just like swings around and starts getting in his face slowly. Ah, are you sure we can't leave this tied? That's what always happened
I'm
when I was
sure.
training before. Any sudden
Aramil.
movements and
Aramil. You look great. Trust me. Go get him, Tiger. Kind of gives you a whap on the back and sends you in the direction of the others.
Aramil walks towards him and says, "But who do I get?" as he vanishes from sight into a crowd towards the others.
Okay. So we are gonna rewind. I can't wait to see your guys' reaction when you see Aramil. But anyway, we're gonna rewind as the three of you are standing there, kind of looking a little lost in all of this hustle and bustle. You guys hear a kind of a deep laugh. And Zane, you glance over and you see Gilmore talking with one of the other monks. He's got a glass of wine in his hand. He's wearing an outfit that has it has Mina written all over it. It's much more flamboyant than anything you would ever wear, Zane. But it works on him. It works very well. It's in purples and burgundy, and it has gold trim. And his hair is slicked back on the sides, but a little fuller on the top. And he's wearing a gold eyeliner. And looking around, you kind of get that this is a theme. You see a number of models wearing this gold eyeliner. Seems like everyone kind of has the color gold in their clothing or on their. But he's standing there with a glass of wine and joking with some of the other models. And he, as you glance over at him, he glances over at you and gives a.
As in, like, acknowledging and saying hey, or as in, like, come over here?
As in acknowledging and saying hey.
I'll give him a courteous nod.
Give me 1 second here to. Okay. He sort of finishes the conversation that he's having and meanders his way over to the and gives you a very low, kind of pretentious bow. Well, hello.
I'll give him a bow as well. Gilmore, it was a pleasure to see you again.
I have to say you did quite a good job the other day, Lord Blackthorn.
Thank you. I had no idea what I was doing.
Do we ever?
I don't
It's
think
all
so.
in the act.
But your assistance was very much appreciated.
I'm glad. Wish we could have met under more fortunate circumstances. He's looking you guys over. He's a little taken back by Kamara. Like he's talking to you, Zane, but he's watching Kamara.
I totally imagine. I'm like I've got this picture in my head of what's going on. Yeah, this is exactly.
I'm sorry, I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Gilmore, this is
Kumar.
Kamara.
Hello.
Ah, so you're Kamara. He
Yeah,
he lifts your hand and gives it a kiss.
thank you. You are.
Gilmore, Sean Gilmore. It's a pleasure. Enchanted.
I love your shop.
Of course, everyone does. Speaking of which, we just got in a wonderful new ship.
What do you
I
have?
believe I believe Mina's already offered you a discount.
Yes,
Well,
but you can
a
offer
number
more.
of things. Sorry, go ahead, Casey.
But you can offer more. Discounts are wonderful.
Possibly. We'll have to arrange a private showing.
Sounds great to me.
So from what I understand, you're to be my partner tonight.
We'll make a fine couple, I think.
Won't we? And then he turns to Charlene. And he takes and kisses your hand as well. And you are?
Hi, I'm Charlotte. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
An exotic beauty from the east. How far east? Where are you from, Charlene?
The Veshra Isles.
Indeed, that is quite a journey. Well, welcome to the city of Amon.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna say that a little bit of time has passed since you guys were standing around, and this is the point at which Aramil kind of starts walking back over to you.
Yeah.
You guys notice Gilmore looking over your shoulders, and he kind of gets this shit-eating grin on his face. And he says to the three of you, I'm assuming this is your other companion. And you guys turn and see Aramil shiny and just completely different.
Yeah, his
Zane's gonna think to himself, "Are you kidding me?"
It's actually not bad. I mean, he looks really nice, but it's not at all what you would have expected.
It's mainly about the shiny muscles.
Charlene's just gonna nod. Sounds about what I expected.
Kamara, your reaction?
I never noticed your muscles before.
How could you not?
Aramil sort of dodges his way through the crowd of people. His clothing isn't as maneuverable as it used to be, so he sort of is a little shaky at first moving through. And the hair, now that it's not braided, just keeps on randomly like flowing in front of him as he moves and behind him and every which way. And some of it gets in his face and he just arrives towards the group with some hair sort of fluttered everywhere and pushes it to the side. He sort of gives a sigh and says, this hair is a little difficult.
So you get to the group and you see a tall, darker skin, kind of dusky skinned man standing there. You've seen Gilmore before, I believe, at the trial.
Yes, Aramil has seen Gilmore.
And he is looking at you with this huge grin on his face, and he sort of raises a hand to his chin and starts rubbing his goatee like he's thinking about something. Yeah, he could literally slip his way through the crowd at this point. You must be Aramil.
And you're Gilmore, correct?
That I am. And he reaches out and he takes your hand and he kisses it.
An odd greeting, but not an unwelcome one, I guess. It's nice to formally meet you, Gilmore. And
The pleasure is
Aramil
all
gives
mine.
him a pretty he like puts his hand down to his side and gives him like a little stoic bow, contrasting his smooth, elegant, gold eyelined appearance.
Poor Aramil is so out of his element. At this point, you hear Kamara, Charlene, and Mina is waving the two of you over.
I guess it's our turn.
Okay, let's see what we're gonna be wearing.
You all sound so thrilled, Gilmore says.
We
I
are forced into this a little bit.
yeah, I only agreed because she asked us.
Hopefully, you won't need to get as earthy as me. Gestures to his oil.
And Gilmore uses your gesture as an excuse to look at it again. And he's not being coy, he's being very obvious. So hang on a second. Kamara and Charlotte, you guys go back to Mina, who's holding a curtain, and the two of you retreat back into the little area where she's doing everyone's hair and makeup. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for coming. This is going to be amazing.
Shalyn puts on a smile. Wouldn't miss it.
Totally amazing.
So, Kamara, because you're so tall, I went ahead and paired you up with Gilmore. He was just about the only one I could find that was tall enough to be taller than you.
He told me.
Isn't he great?
He's pretty nice. Yes.
He's amazing. Just wait till you get to know him. Charlene, I'm going to go ahead and pair you up with Aramel, okay?
Okay.
So here you go. And she pulls out a couple garment bags. For you, Charlene, it's basically, again, she's kind of captured your essence. It's very beach themed, but it's like almost like a two-piece bikini. But there's like a gauzy skirt that goes over top of it. It's very summery. It's all in like sand and blue colors. You can see how it matches what Aramel is wearing. There's some jewelry as well. There's like seashells that are dipped in gold as the necklace and bracelets. Nothing too gaudy. It's kept really simple and earthly, just kind of with a little bit of gold accents. And she hands it over to you to try on. She does not turn around. She's just assuming you're gonna do your thing. But then as she hands it over to you, she pulls out Kamara's gown. It's very different from what Charlene is wearing. It's a lot like Gilmore's outfit in the colors. It's like burgundies and violets. Kamara, it is absolutely beautiful. It's probably even in your days as a top paid courtesan, it's probably one of the most beautiful things you've ever had your hands on. And it's cut exquisitely for your figure. It's kind of got a low V-neck. It's backless. And you can tell just from the way that it's made that it's going to look great on. It's kind of got gold thread accents going through it. And she gives you a couple pieces of jewelry to match it as well.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's going to be better with you wearing it.
True. Let me just put it on.
So after the two of you change into your outfits, she starts working on your hair. She does kind of that like slicked back, like pulls both of your both of your hair back into ponytails where like the sides are tight and slip back, but there's like a little more volume on the top. It's very kind of I don't know, chic. And she puts the gold eyeliner on both of you. But with you guys, she actually does your makeup. And after about 10 minutes of doing this, she pulls off the cover on the mirror so you guys can see yourselves. Kamara, you look beautiful. She's done an amazing job. You're used to dressing up, so it's not quite as much of a shocking transformation as for you as it was for Aramel. Um, but you can actually see how well the gown is cut for you. It just shows you off in all the right places. And you look more elegant than you have ever looked before. This isn't a courtesan's gown. This is a lady's gown. And she's standing kind of biting her lip, waiting to see what you think.
It looks great. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it, Kamara. I bet we're going to sell a bunch of these tonight.
You better. I mean, this gown looks amazing. Charlene looks awesome too.
Charlene, your turn. She pulls you in front of the mirror. So your transformation, Charlene, is almost unbelievable. I mean, you've done the whole party scene on Veshra. You thought that you could kind of get yourself done up and looking nice, but this is like beyond compare. You've gone from kind of looking like this shy girl to like this stunning one. And as you're looking in the mirror, she kind of like pokes your back to make you stand up straighter. Yeah?
Yeah.
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 She claps her hands and giggles. The outfit, I don't know. No, I mean, Charlene usually, I don't know what she usually wears really, but it's a little revealing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes her uncomfortable or not, but that's what you're working with.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely more revealing than what she would normally, but she's feeling the empowerment side of it more than like, oh, it's too much type of thing.
Right. And that's the intent of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys are getting dolled up, Gilmore is talking to Zane and Aramil, and he offers you both a glass of wine.
Aramil will definitely accept the wine.
Zane will also accept the wine.
You might need more than one glass to get through this, honestly, boys.
It does seem
But
like a...
It's gonna be that bad, huh?
it makes her happy.
Must be honest, I'm not quite sure what to expect. So maybe 2 glasses of wine.
I bought a few bottles. Don't worry, he gives you a wink.
Will you also be walking on stage, Gilmore? All right. This is your getup? This is your clothing?
My getup.
Oops.
Honestly,
This
do
is
you
what
think
you'll
I
be
dress-
wearing.
Do you think I dress like this every day?
Aramil goes back to the
Everyone-
trial where he
Yes.
remembers where he remembers Gilmore's entrance and nods.
I guess that's fair. I deserved that.
Oh, that wasn't meant to be insult. It's just how I've seen you since I first saw you at the trial, but I guess that was also an indication that you may dress up for.
He chuckles. No insult taken. I know my sense of fashion can be rather elaborate.
Elaborate is definitely the word I was looking for. Aramil takes a big glug of his wine. Gilmore, there's something that I'd hoped to talk with you about, but the festival's not a good time. Is there a place we could meet up sometime after? Sometime tomorrow?
His eyebrows go up. And as soon as you take some gulps of wine, he refills it.
Oh, thank you for that.
Definitely don't want to go dry. Of course. Although we have quite a bit of time here while we're waiting for the ladies.
Well, it's a bit of a Arima looks around sensitive topic, so if there's a place with privacy, I wouldn't mind talking about it, but maybe not out here with so many people around.
One of his eyebrows goes up even higher. Privacy, you said? Huh. Of course, we can definitely arrange some of that. And he's not being coy, Aramil.
Is he like staring at me?
Yes.
In your travel, have you not seen a southern elf?
Oh, I've seen plenty of elves. Just not one quite like you.
You might say that there aren't a lot of elves like me left. Aramil's
I could agree with that.
enthusiasm, which wasn't there to start. He was sort of in this new scenario. He like his speech suddenly like slows down a bit, and he fails to keep eye contact for a bit, and then he sort of shakes his head and says, "Well, is there a place we could discuss something?"
So he kind of seems to sense the change in you, and he like backs off his gawking a little. Of course, tomorrow. That's fine. I'll be at my shop.
I look forward to seeing you there then. In the meanwhile, we should enjoy the festival. Until give Gilmore a smile. A little forced, but
He returns it, and he almost seems even more interested in you now that you've revealed this other side of yourself. And at this point, Charlene and Kamara come back out, and you guys see how amazing they look. It's nothing that you wouldn't have expected from Kamara. I mean, she looks amazing, but Charlene's transformation is definitely a lot more bold. Ladies, Gilmore says.
You both look amazing.
Charlene gives a bit of a bow. Thank you, thank you.
a curtsy or like a straight bow.
Like a one hand across her, like kind of like a mock like show type bow. So yeah, more of a straight bow than a curtsy.
All right, Aramel returns a short bow as well. Certainly
Okay.
a different look
Showbiz.
for you.
As you bow, Aramel, your hair gets in your face again.
He's getting used to this and almost immediately moves to just sort of group his hair, holding it and sort of pulling it out and pushing it to the side.
What color is Aramel's hair, by the way?
It is sort of hard to tell in this picture, but it's supposed to be brown.
Okay. So as the girls come back, Mina waves at you, Zane, from behind the curtain.
I say, excuse me, everyone. I'll be right back. And
Oh,
I will.
wait. Gilmore grabs your arm and refills your cup.
Thank you. And he downs it in one gulp and
he refills it again.
Are we drinking?
Walk over to Mina.
Good luck, Zane.
Okay, so Zane, you're pulled behind this curtain. You can see that there's a mirror, but it's covered right now. And Mina's looking at you. She actually looks a little nervous.
You look nervous. What's the problem?
It's silly, isn't it? To be nervous over something like this. I don't know. I can't really explain it except this is like me. This is my art. I guess I just really want it to go well.
Well, from what I've seen so far of your art, you have done an amazing job. You have
Thank
nothing
you.
unless you slather oil all over me, in which case that's not what we agreed on. He gives you a smirk.
No, I mean, we can save that for later. She says with a side grin. She's obviously teasing, but. So, are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. What do you got for me?
So she hands you like a garment bag. She doesn't unzip it, but she turns around so that you can change.
And I do.
She's snickering the whole time, just keeping you on edge.
What are you laughing?
I don't know. Do you need help? Should I turn around?
Well, I got my underwear on. You can help if you want.
Okay. And she turns around and she does. Out of curiosity, you mentioned to her that you had some scars. Do you
Yeah.
actually have scars?
Oh yes. I mean, specifically the a jagged scar on my left shoulder from the poison arrow, which is still healing. There's the scar from the harpoon that went through my chest. So there's a giant scar on my chest and back, and then like little cuts over like my sword arm and probably my front shin. Yeah, covered in little cuts and scars and stuff, but specifically those big ones.
So she makes it very clear that she is appreciative when she turns around and grins at you. But then she looks a little sad and walks up and starts tracing some of your scars with her fingertips.
Yeah, that one on my chest and back. That was a harpoon that went through my chest. It nearly killed me. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was dead for a second before they brought me back.
She looks very uncomfortable with that. How old are you? I don't think I ever asked you.
I don't think you have. I'm 18.
She blinks a couple times. You know, it never fails to amaze me what humans go through in their lifetimes.
I guess I've never thought of it. Are elves any different?
Very different. I'm not your typical elf. I would
Okay.
say more like Aramil than like me, although he's not very typical either. Things are very slow for us, slow to change, slow to grow. But you've seen 18 years and you've already been through all of this.
Well, I guess humans live such a short life that we got to fill it up somehow.
She looks very sad for a moment and eventually kind of takes her hand away from your chest and pushes the clothing back at you.
Anyway, that one on my shoulder, this scar right here, was a poison arrow from one of Dugent's assassins.
From what?
One of Dugent's assassins. He blindsided me with a poison arrow, but luckily I've kind of trained my body to accept some poisons, and he chose the wrong poison. And then these cuts on my arm were also from Dugent's assassin. It was one of the first assassins that he sent to me. I fought him off in basically in my underwear.
She looks like she's starting to get angry. Who is this Dugent?
You don't know him.
Can't say I do.
He's
and as she's talking to you, Zane, she's helping you pull on the clothes.
yes. He's one of the nobles here at Amon. He stole textiles from the Aaron family.
She kind of frowns a little bit as you mention the Aaron family, but she doesn't say anything.
He was supposed to be the person that helped me get into the have an in with the nobility, so that I may start making my claim. But instead, he betrayed me.
It sounds like I should find out a little bit more about him.
Maybe you should. Maybe you can help me get revenge. I'm working on that right now.
She hands you like an overcoat that you pull on top of the shirt. You're kind of focused on the conversation. You're not really at this point looking at the clothes.
Yeah.
And of course, there's Nina, and she's rather distracting herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of pushes you down into the chair and tells you to close your eyes, and she starts doing your eyeliner and your hair.
Makeup?
Just a little, I promise.
All right, I trust you. And he closes his eyes.
You're such a boy.
You're such a girl.
She sits down in your lap as she's doing it.
I kind of use my hands to keep her on my lap.
She finishes your eyeliner and starts doing your hair. You never did cut it.
I've been meaning to, though. It's been on my mind. Been so busy.
You don't have to. She seems to be enjoying herself playing with it.
Feels pretty good. You can keep doing that if you want.
I could do this forever, but we do have a deadline. So she stands back up and starts finishing the style. Okay, are you ready?
All right, show me.
She pulls off.
He looks like he's bracing himself.
She pulls the cover off the mirror. And I don't know what else to say other than you look like a king.
Zane's jaw kind of drops. And he's just looking at himself.
So the outfit is it's very regal. It's done up in colors that are like they're Mina's colors. The reds and the golds and the oranges. But you have kind of like a white vest underneath with a sash. And it's very militaristic. And then like an over jacket with golden tassels, and it just looks very kingly.
It's like,
and the gold on your eyes kind of brings out all the gold in the outfit itself, And your hair is done in that same kind of like slicked back on the sides and a little fuller on the top style.
When I used to dream of being king, this is almost exactly how I imagined myself looking. How did you know?
Just an inkling.
You
And
like
I figured that it couldn't hurt to kind of put that image in people's minds.
Thank you, Mina. This is literally amazing.
Oh, you know what? I forgot one thing.
Oh.
She goes fishing around in a bag and pulls out a little scrap of what looks like cloth, and she opens it up, and it's cut. It's like a gold foil kind of cloth, and it's cut in the shape of a leaf.
uh, you are funny.
I know. This is for good luck. And give me a second because I totally want this to happen, but I'm almost embarrassed to say it. She steps forward, grabs your belt, and kind of tucks it down underneath.
I go, I go, well, we'll see how lucky that is.
She starts laughing when you say that. She was keeping her cool until now, but she's lost it and she's laughing.
He's laughing with her.
Okay. Okay, well, that's everyone except for me. And she makes this little hand gesture for you to turn around.
Okay. But let me know if you need help. And he turns around, facing the mirror. And then he takes like a sidestep to the left. After noticing he can see him.
Yeah, she's not falling for that. She laughs at your attempt and then throws the blanket over the mirror. And you hear her kind of moving around while she's changing. A couple minutes pass, and she tells you can turn around, and you see her wearing a gown, and not too dissimilar from the shape of what you saw Kamara wearing, but the makeup of the gown is very different. It's basically, I wish I had a picture I could show you, but it's basically, it's a sheer material, and in the material is sewn like different gems, and they're organized in a way where it's classy enough that it doesn't show anything, but it's also revealing enough to still be very feminine. But the gems are all in these golds and oranges and ruby colors, and the shape of them, it's kind of like a high-low dress where it's cut high in the front and it kind of swoops out in the, and the design of it looks almost like a phoenix. Like the back part of the dress is like the tail of the phoenix, and then the head of the phoenix is like on her shoulder as it like drapes downward. And she's also got her hair up in the same fashion as the rest of you and the gold eyeliner on. And it matches your outfit perfectly.
Wow, you look ravishing.
She gives you a big smile and she turns and looks in the mirror. And then she grabs her hand and pulls you behind her. So you're kind of like hugging her from behind.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. Zane takes a deep breath and probably smells her perfume. He goes, "Me too."
And then she leans forward and looks in the mirror, and her face flushes. She's like, oh, no.
What's wrong?
Well, this could have caused some serious rumors. And she points where the dress is kind of cut high in the front, and you see bruises on her thighs.
Still got those bruises, huh?
Well, I didn't expect to be charging off on a horse to save the day. I was wearing a dress. But let's stop those tongues from wagging. And she gets some makeup and basically covers it up with makeup.
I mean, healing would probably fix that, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I go, no, don't use the makeup. I got this. Remember when I fixed your arm?
I do.
Hold still. And I use like one or two of
Josh.
of lay on hands. Yep. I place my hand on the bruise.
Of course you do. And she's watching you just with like a shit-eating grin on her face as you she's not uncomfortable with it, but she's very amused because she's wise enough to know that you don't need to do that in order to heal her. But she lets you do it anyway, and the bruises disappear.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Uh-huh.
All better.
Shall we?
Yes. After we're done with this, I'd like to speak to you on about some things that have come up recently that I'd like to you to know about.
Of course.
Okay. What do I have to do as far as do I just stand there and wave or what?
Well, let's explain this to everybody.
All right.
And she throws aside the curtain and walks out to join the others. And you guys get your first look at Zane and Mina in their new get-ups.
looking like a king and queen.
Gilmore gives a whistle as they come out.
Wow.
I know, right? And she kind of gives a twirl.
Mina does know what she's doing, doesn't she? We all look amazing.
Aramel nods. Yes, it is very well done.
Aramel, and she walks over and fixes your hair again.
I
Really?
I keep on trying to move it back, but I swear it has a mind of its own unless it's bound and kept out of the way.
You should really leave it down. It looks amazing like that, doesn't it, Gilmore? And Gilmore just gives you a grin. Absolutely.
Aramil sort of holds it and keeps it to the side. Well, it's not practical. Sort of strokes his hair as he's trying to move it.
She smacks your hand away. Stop it.
All right.
Okay. So this is how it works. And she explains to you that basically there's three designers here. And it's not like a modern day fashion show where you catwalk. It's more like the group of you goes out in your pairs and place strategically, and the nobles of the city come up and kind of admire your outfits, and they ask you questions about it. So she gives each of you like a card that has information about like the fabrics and the cost and like all of this. And she tells you that they can place orders with you, and that the person that it's a little bit of a contest too, because the designer that does the best during the show kind of gets the recognition of that, but also the model who earns the most sales has a reward.
Airmail's gonna
she-
get more sales over there.
Sorry, what?
So it's just Airmail's gonna get those sales.
Really? Do you think this is appealing?
Mina says, "Oh yes." And she looks over at Gilmore and says, "Did you notice his muscles have muscles?" Gilmore gives a laugh. "Yeah, we'll be rolling for that, Kamara." Okay, are you guys ready for this to begin? Do you have any questions?
So
Get
she'll be
right to it.
explaining what's going on, and then you'll be explaining mechanical wise what we'll be doing. So, no, I'm good.
Okay. So music kind of starts to sound from the outside of the stage area. There's a big curtain and there's light streaming through, so you guys realize that once you exit through that curtain, you're going to be outside, and it's still sunlight. So there's plenty of daylight left. She tells you that you don't really want to like talk too much or entertain the nobles. You're really there just to kind of answer questions. And that if there's any problems or anything, just to kind of flag her down and she'll find you.
What kind of questions are we to expect to be answering?
She indicates the cards again, which tells you like the materials, the costs, the processing time, like it's all the information, like a sales pitch basically. And she says if you have any trouble, just hand them the cards.
Oh, I thought we were just going to be showing things off. We're also selling things. Didn't know that.
Of course. What would be the point if there wasn't money involved? And as the music is kind of starting up, she's looking at all of you all. She glances over your shoulder, Zane, and the expression on her face drops. Could you guys excuse me for a minute?
Of course.
And she pushes past you.
I'm gonna kind of just follow her with my eyes and see where she goes.
Yeah, I want to look.
So you guys turn around, and in the doorway to this to the back of the theater, you see Vale Aaron. He's looking in your direction, but he's sort of like looking at the ground, not making eye contact with anyone. He looks really uncomfortable. And she makes her way over to him. And you hear Gilmore give a low whistle. Well, that is unexpected.
I'm gonna move closer so I can hear, but try to act like I'm not.
Okay, so you kind of make your way in between the two groups, maybe like you wanted to look out the curtain or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get close enough that you can hear the conversations that are going on with both groups of people. There's a lot of hesitation on Mina's part, but the group of you standing there with Gilmore, he turns and says, "Looks like someone heard about what happened at the castle." Honestly, I'm surprised it took him so long.
I think, from what I've been gathering, he's been avoiding.
No, avoiding isn't quite the word. I'd pick something more extreme. I'd say this is the first time they've seen each other in over a year. Such a tragic story. Have you heard it?
No, but I'd like you to tell it.
Certainly. And he fills his wine glass and fills all of yours again. Do you know how Mina came to be in the city?
I've done a little bit of research on notable people of the city before meeting Mina. So something about her escaping her duties in her homeland.
Escaping isn't quite the right word. She actually smuggled her way here with the army.
Her duties? What are her duties in her homeland?
Gilmore raises an eyebrow at you, Charlene, and glances at Zane. Maybe that's a story for another day.
And Zane nods.
But that was the army that took down Thordak with the help of Vox Machina and myself, of course.
Yes, I heard of that as well.
Vale and his friends played a part as well. They were underground. But let's just say the two ran into each other, and it was love at first sight. Kind of a surprise considering the difference in their personalities, but somehow it worked. And it worked very well.
Yeah, I still don't see it. I still don't understand how that happened.
Love is a flabbergasting thing, my dear. Unfortunately, sometimes it picks you. He clears his throat and kind of returns to the story. He's getting kind of very showmanship, like talking about. He's a very good storyteller. And he kind of weaves you the tale of how they met just after the downfall of Thordak. Mina and Vale were both very focused on helping to rebuild the city, and they found this common interest, and it kind of bloomed into a relationship. And he talks about how they were like basically the star couple of them, that everyone thought that this was something that was going to last forever, until the day that Mina's older brother, Alduin, returned to the city. And he tells you that Alduin immediately took a dislike to Vale and confronted him with the fact that he was in an unapproved relationship. And he glances at Aramil as he says this, figuring that Aramil will understand. Zane, you understand what he means by unapproved. In the society of Singorn, couples basically have to get approval to have a relationship. They have to gain approval in order to procreate. The culture of Singorn is such that they don't want the city to become overcrowded, so it's population controlled. So Alduin and Vale ended up having a massive argument, and Gilmore tells you that Vale let his dark side show, and he doesn't say it specifically, but basically he says his anger got the best of him. And you guys, Gilmore obviously doesn't know that you know what you know about Vale, but you get the gist of it, that he werewolfed out. He tells you that Mina was heartbroken and sent Vale's friends to find him. And she mentions some of the friends, and you recognize some of the names, Jacob and Vale. And he tells you that Jacob was the one that found Vale, and basically that in a moment of weakness, trying to comfort his friend, they went a little too far. And Vale went back to Mina, confessed what he had, and he tells you that Mina forgave him, but that Vale couldn't handle it, that he started to self-destruct, that he was worried that Mina didn't actually forgive him for the infidelity. he started to become possessive, and he basically just went in a downward spiral. And Gilmore says to you, and he kind of has his eyes on, Mina can tolerate a lot, but if there's one thing she can't put up with, it's the idea of being possessed by someone else.
I can understand that.
It was tragic. And that's the story. You guys, as you're watching this, you see Mina approach Vale, and he doesn't look her in the eyes, but as she gets close, he starts talking to her. You guys can't hear what he's saying. You just see that he's avoiding her gaze. His hands actually start shaking at one point, and he kind of tucks them into the loops of his belt to stop them from shaking. Yes, Kamara, you can hear it. Basically, the conversation goes that he heard about what happened at the castle, and she responds, that she knows that he had a part to play in her rescue, and she thanks him for that. But he kind of in turn beats himself up a little bit, and he's saying that he should have known, that he should have done something sooner. And she tells him that there really was nothing that he could have done. She's trying to be very polite to him and uplifting, but he doesn't seem to be accepting. They talk a little bit about how Jacob Lannis is being in charge of the trials for the men who did, and he assures her that Jacob's going to take care of it. She doesn't really seem to like the mention of Jacob, but she listens through. And then he says, Mina, there's one other thing I need to talk with you about. I don't think you're going to like it. She kind of just waits and watches him with a pale face, and he leans in and whispers something to her. Kamara, go ahead and make a perception check. I'm going to make the DC on this 15.
Natural 18.
Okay, I'm going to whisper this to you if you guys can give me a moment.
Aramil's been nodding along this whole time as he's listening quietly. After Gilmore has explained their situation, sort of say out loud, "So that's how it is."
It's tragic, really.
I look at Zane.
The more that I see people in a big city, the more I've realized that every now and then something is brought forward that you feel like you can't overcome. It heartens you, spirit weak. Sometimes from there, to find a new source of strength to pass what's happened to you.
Gilmore looks at you rather impressed, Aramil. Here's to that, and he taps his wine glass to your. If only he had trusted her.
We'll clink the glass. It sounds like it won't work out between them, sure, but he still has a long time to live and learn. Hopefully someday he will be able to understand what's happening, and spirit will become strong enough to see what's happened.
So you guys are watching as Vale leans in and whispers something. It's maybe 4 or 5 sentences that he whispers to her. And he stands back up and watches her for a minute. She's standing absolutely still, no expression on her face. He waits for a minute and then he leans down and kisses her forehead and turns and leaves. And she's standing there for a good 15 seconds and she takes a deep breath and puts on a smile and turns back around to the rest of you. Oh gosh, okay, it looks like we are about to start.
What was he here for?
Oh, yeah, he sort of found out about everything that happened at the castle. He's rather protective, if you haven't noticed.
Yes, he certainly is.
Yeah, we definitely have noticed.
Okay, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
She walks up to you, Zane, and takes your arm. Zane, make a perception check. She's a little off. I mean, it's sorry, insight check. Would it change it?
It would. It would go down by 3.
Okay. She just looks like she's nervous. And then she leads the group of you onto the stage. So after being in the back of the theater for so long, your eyes are kind of used to the dim light. You step out onto the stage. The other models have already made their way out on the stage. You guys are the last group to arrive. The theater is absolutely beautiful. It's like this marble stage surrounded by foliage and like pools of water. It's kind of made to look a little bit run down, but at the same time, it's kind of the shabby chic kind of thing. There's a large crowd of well-dressed noblemen and women, a lot of young adults, young nobles, especially the ladies who might be at the age where they have this love of fashion. And there's clapping as you guys step your way. Mina kind of positions you strategically. Aramel and Charlene, you're on one side of the stage. Gilmore and Kamara are on another. And then she and Zane kind of take a more central position. And you guys are mixed in with models from other designers. And you're on the stage for about 30 minutes as the nobles kind of meander their way through and look through your information, ask you questions. I am curious to see how all of you feel about being put on display like this.
I'm totally fine with it.
Zane's thinking of this as some kind of like charity dinner or something that he's been trained in etiquette for. So he's just imagining himself doing that.
Charlene, Aramel?
Aramil looks at the people and as they approach, he just stares at them, straight faced, gives them the card, has short responses. He's probably same height or a little shorter than them since he's a buff elf instead of a tall, lean elf. But he does so just as very like stiff, almost very stiff, straight faced, almost like performance anxiety. Like if someone were performing, it would almost seem unnaturally stiff.
It's okay. I think a lot of guys have that problem. Har har. Okay, Charlene, what about you?
Charlene takes like a deep breath before going out there, and then when like people are asking her things and stuff, she's kind of trying to act. She's pretty much like doing a mixture between what would Kamara do and what would Mina do. So she. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something when you said what would Kamara do, because I was gonna say what Kamara was doing.
Oh
Anyways,
no! I mean like that would be her thought process of how to act in this. Be like, oh yes, try to be like them. They know what they're doing.
Okay, so Kamara and Charlene, you all are very you get quite a few looks from the noblemen that are a little scandalous when their wives' backs are turned, especially you, Kamara.
So I just want to say, because I didn't know we were explaining what we were doing. I thought we were just explaining feelings. So she's way more flamboyant than she's ever been. She's like laughing at stupidest jokes, and she's holding on to Gilmore, and when like the guys look at her scandalously, she like smiles at them mischievously. And if Charlene has never seen this before, if she's watching her, and she's just complete flirt right now while this is happening.
Gilmore actually seems really impressed with you, Kamara. And as a noble couple passes, he makes a comment under your breath or under his breath. It's almost like you've done this before. And then he grins as the next group approaches and gives them. He's just as flamboyant as you.
And she's feeding off it. She's like just going with it and making them hopefully the most inflammatory.
Yeah, you're definitely drawing a lot of attention.
It's definitely going to be the most flamboyant couple out there, the two of you together.
Although there is Mina and Zane. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Okay.
I would also say for that like deep breath that she did before going out, she also would like compulsively just cast guidance on herself before going out, because that's the type of thing she do. Be like, oh, I'm nervous about a thing, guidance.
Sure, she can do that. Aramil, I would like you to make a perception check. So you notice between groups of people that Gilmore's eyes always seem to keep finding you. And at one point, you kind of catch his gaze and he kind of gives you a wink of encouragement and a thumbs up sign. Which I don't know if that makes you feel more comfortable or less comfortable.
I'm going to have to go with less comfortable, but he gives back a weary smile and tries to give him some sort of symbol that he's okay.
Okay.
Goes for the very quick nod as an acknowledgement before turning back to people that are asking questions.
As you do that, you see him lean in and whisper something to Kamara. Okay, so while that's happening, I would like, this is how we're gonna play out the award for whoever manages to get the most sales. What I'd like you to do, I've thought about this. I really want your charisma to play into it. So I'd like you all to take your charisma modifier and multiply it by 5. Then I want you to make 3 performance checks and add the results of that to your charisma modifier that you multiply by 5.
So we're taking the whole number and we're adding it to the charisma times 5, or modifier times 5.
Yes, so 3 performance checks from each of you, add them together, then add it to your charisma modifier times 5.
Could I uh what's the word? Damn it. Could I convince you that persuasion could be uh something that he's doing more than performance?
What would you guys say to that?
He is
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah,
it more like a parody instead
Okay.
of like an actual like haha,
Well,
right?
Yes, that's absolutely fine. Persuasion works as well, but everyone else can roll whatever their better one is.
Are we adding the modifier? Like if we're proficient?
Yes.
Which I'm not, but
and 3 rolls and sum everything together.
I, I'm also going to go with persuasion.
Rest in pieces performance. Someday you will be a skill.
I'm using performance because I feel like it. And I'm making a performance, so it makes sense.
No,
Okay,
do you
who's
think
up
that
for
I'd be able
roll?
to
Wait,
get
okay,
my
so are we adding 25 to all 3, or are we doing 3 and then adding 25?
You're doing 3 rolls and then adding your charisma modifier times 5.
Oh no, I messed up Charlene's vibe. We both crit failed the same one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh
We
no.
both could have failed on the same. I think that we both like insulted the hell out of someone.
we just accidentally, we didn't realize it. We were just like reading off the card, but there was like, it was misheard as like a slur or something, and it escalated from there.
Do you think I would be able to pull off a guidance between each one and get the D4 on each of them?
I mean, can you cast magic in the middle of a show? Would that freak people out?
I feel
Yeah,
like
you
a cantrip would
wouldn't.
be
I'll let you
kind of.
I'll let you take that guidance that you cast before you went out there, but yeah, no more after that.
Okay, that's fair.
13 to 11.
So I added all of mine up. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big difference between Zane and Aravel. I think this is coming down to
How do
Zane
you
or
do that?
Kamara. So add those 3 numbers together, Kamara, and then your charisma modifier times 5.
And then how you add them together like that is you just do /R and then just add them all together. Add the numbers.
That doesn't make
so
sense.
close.
How did you get 24? 24.
You got 18 twice, and
Okay.
that'll do it.
My persuasion's pretty high.
He's also
I mean,
like,
if I add persuasion, it's way more.
I mean, I'm just in my element. I'm thinking of this as as me being in my element.
So what are you rolling, Kamara? That the ones that you rolled, what exactly are those rolls? Are they just straight
That's
rolls?
the base. That was the straight rolls, and then I
Okay.
added the 25, but I didn't add the charisma to each roll. So
No,
the
you need to
ro-
add your modifier to each roll. I'm sorry if that was unclear. So
and
it would
then
be
you
like
add an extra.
yes.
Okay, so that's what.
Just like Zane did, he rolled he rolled persuasion 3 times. That's including his modifiers, and then he added the charisma modifier times 5.
Oh, yeah. So you'd get 80.
So you beat me.
You're definitely both in your element, though.
Got the uncharismatic corner over here, 31 and 40.
I mean, this kind of played out exactly like I expected it to. So yeah, I mean, this is really Kamara's thing. I didn't actually expect Zane to come even that close to her, but okay. So after about half an hour standing in the sun, feeling like Aramel, you in particular, you feel like this oil that's on you is kind of starting to melt and drip, and you're feeling really uncomfortable. Charlene, you're trying really hard to like kind of play up to Aramil, but like you're feeling it kind of on your hands and stuff like that as well.
Oh, and that should have been a 44, not a 40. But yeah, same deal.
Okay. Um, the display kind of seems to be coming to an end. All of you have kind of felt a little bit on display, which you are. You've gotten some winks. Zane, you've definitely been. Let's see how to phrase it. The ladies have been very forward in touching your outfit. Let's put it that way. And a couple of times, maybe you've had to give dark glances at some of the men who are checking out, but I will leave that up to you.
Oh no, certainly.
Gilmore Kamar. Gilmore doesn't seem to have a problem with any of it. He's absolutely eating it. Josh, don't be gone long. Okay. So it kind of comes to an end, and the nobles kind of gather back down in the area. They're all chatting and drinking wine and eating expensive foods. And Mina kind of gathers you guys up, and all 3 of the different designers kind of end up in a different corner talking and gossiping. And an official from the event comes around and gathers your cards to get an idea of who sold what and who the designer that wins is going to be. If you guys want to have any conversation in this moment, you're welcome to.
Yeah. Zane, come here.
Huh?
Come here.
Okay. I excuse myself from whoever I'm talking to and go to Kamara.
Mina glances between you guys and watches you walk away. And she strikes up a conversation with Gilmore.
I'm gonna move away so no one can hear. So I just wanted you to know that Vale Aaron heard that you were betrothed.
Heard I was betrothed.
Yeah, with Lady Lenore's daughter.
I can't hear anything. Someone is like scratching the hell out of their mic.
It's probably me, sorry. With Lady Lenore's daughter, you're betrothed. And he told Mina, probably because of their history, and he just didn't want her to be hurt. Literally, that's what he said. He didn't want her to be hurt. But I just thought you should know, because I know you're not, or I think you're not.
I am not. You see the muscles at his temples clenching. Most certainly am not.
That's going around in the city, I guess.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you telling me this. You didn't have to.
I know, but I did, so
I owe you one.
yes.
I'm gonna go back to Mina and I'm going to. It's so that all of this is winding down. You said.
Yeah. So at this point, like all of the models and designers are turning because the judge of the is walking up to kind of a podium and clapping her hands. And so as you walk back over to Mina, her attention is taken by that.
I'm gonna get really close to her ear and I say, what Val said was not true.
She looks at you and she looks frustrated, and then she just holds up her hand like, not right now.
I understand. We'll talk later.
Okay, so the judge walks up and again, I'm going to skip over this a little bit because we don't need a long speech. Makes the announcement that the winning designer is indeed the Runelith designer. And all the models around you kind of moan, except for you guys. And it's actually a pretty good performance on your part because I did roll for them behind the scenes. Considering you guys aren't actual models and they are models, you guys did a really good job. Your overall score was pretty high.
What were like their averages and stuff?
And most of them rolled in the 60s. So it was really Kamara and Zane's high rolls that kind of boosted you guys up.
Of course, the awkward Aramel and Charlene bringing it down.
Nature duo.
Yeah, they had some Rolos too. Apparently, some of them were on the top of their model game today. Anyway, and then it is announced that the model with the most sales was indeed Kamara. And there's kind of clapping from the crowd. And she comes down, Kamara, and hands you a black box. It's a large black box, kind of the size of two of your hands put together. And you open it to find a diamond necklace.
Ooh.
Is this mine?
Mina squeals and gives you a hug and says, "Yes, that's yours. Congratulations."
Thank you.
You're welcome. You just made me a ton of money, Kamara.
Good, good. I'm glad. Oh, can you help me put it on?
Yeah, she helps you put it on. It kind of clashes pretty badly with the necklace from well, you know what you're wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say that this necklace is worth about 1,000 gold pieces. But the diamonds themselves are, let me just put it this way to you, they're worth about 500 gold pieces each, the two big diamonds on it. So if you guys were to use them for another purpose, they are there.
Is it only 500 gold, or
there's some little diamonds, but I'm going to say that two of them are diamonds that are worth about 500 gold pieces. So yeah, you could either sell the necklace for 1,000 or you could maintain them and have those two diamonds as needed. Okay, so a cheer goes up in the crowd, and Mina walks back over to you, Zane. She actually looks really happy. This is kind of a big culmination for her. And you know, she was telling you before that this was her art, and it was very nerve-wracking. And she's really, really thrilled that she actually won this. And she walks over and reaches out for your hands.
I'll grab him. I say, "Congratulations, Mina."
She gives you a really, sorry?
I say, "Congratulations, Mina. I'm really happy for you."
She gives you a big smile. And we are entering a cutscene. Zane, you're looking at this absolutely gorgeous woman in front of you, and you feel happy despite what you just found out. Looking at how happy she is, and then there's a moment of confusion as you notice blood on her face. There's a line of it, and as you look, it starts to pour down her cheek, and you see her eyes get wide and fill with fear. You don't really understand what's happening, but she's looking at you in absolute terror. And you reach up, you feel something in your neck, and you look down and your hand is covered in blood. The rest of you watch in stunned silence as 5 bolts shoot out from the crowd. One takes Zane directly in the neck, and the other 4 hit him in the chest. Mina is barely able to comprehend what's going on as Zane starts to fall backwards. She kind of grabs him. He's easily twice her weight, even without armor. And they kind of fall to the ground together. She just barely manages to keep him from hitting his head as he falls. And she starts screaming. And if you guys will hold a moment. Okay, and I'd like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Even me?
Yes, even you.
Okay.
I can't click on Charlotte.
Okay,
Is
I'll
her
do the leader.
armor
You can
class
pull her
lower?
out. Yes, I should mention, none of you have weapons and none of you have armor. Oh, you know what? I put them on the map layer. Hang on.
That would do it.
Yeah.
So what does that make the armor class, like 11 or something? 12?
Yeah, I guess your armor class would just be 10 plus your deck.
Okay.
Oh, hey, my stats actually don't change at all.
Oh, crazy how that works.
Very fortunate.
Okay, does everyone have access to your characters now?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you want me to roll again and then drop the 8 and then-
Aww. All right, keep going.
I found a good little icon to put over my what you call it? My token.
Yeah, that actually fits pretty much perfectly.
Oh, I like it.
Okay, guys, give me just one more moment to do some DM stuff, and then...
Okay, so I am towards the bottom of the initiative. I putting headphones in, so I'm gonna hear you, but I'm not gonna be talking. Going down stuff. So BRB.
Okay.
It's breaking up pretty bad too on my end.
Yeah, probably because he's moving down. Well, that's happening.
Yep.
Okay, so Kamara, Aramil, and Charlotte, you watch as your friend is pummeled with arrows. You watch one of them go straight through his neck. You watch Mina grab him as he starts to go down, and she's screaming in fear. She's yelling, "Sean, Sean." Um, the crowd starts to scream and disperse. And it's not hard for the three of you to see two cloaked figures turning to make their way out with the crowd. Aramel, you're up first.
You're not getting away that easy. Aramel's going to move to the edge of the stage.
By the way, this water, there's actually bridges. You can walk right over it.
All right. But he is in touching distance. He may have to sort of like jump off the stage at an awkward angle, but he'll go for it. To move.
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check just to say that you're able to maneuver that difficult terrain. Yeah, you're fine. You're able to kind of leap across the bottom of the stage onto this other platform.
And that's exactly what Aramil will do. The senses are still pretty sharp. Maybe because he doesn't actually want to be on the stage. Maybe because he just happened to catch a whiff of something off. But either way, he instantly drops his awkward stance and enters one more appropriate for combat. His clothing isn't as inhibitory. And he took a couple practice swings, so he's going to move up here and jump off the stage into the stance, past a group of people to the slow cloaked figure and try and knock him down with some punches and a low swing, or a low sweep with his foot. So he'll spend a key point and flurry, and he's going to force dexterity saving throws on every hit.
Okay. So all of this hit.
Alright, and he's going to spend on the ground, and on the last one, he's going to do an extra. He's going to try and sweep this guy off his feet such that his head sort of lands on the ground. And he's going to apply Stunning Blow. Or Stunning Strike, I'm sorry, wrong game. And it's a Constitution save as well. It's DC 8, 11, 12, 13.
He does pass that.
Alright.
Okay, so my understanding is he's now prone.
Yep.
Okay. That's a very good point, Kamara. I didn't consider Castellana. We're gonna say role play wise that when they went to hand you the necklace, you handed Castellana to Gilmore.
Okay.
So he currently has her. Okay, Aramel, add up that damage for me.
.24 bludgeoning. And Aramel will sort of lean over the prone figure and saying, "Where were you going?" And that's his turn.
Okay. He doesn't answer you except for a bunch of grunts as he gets to the ground and looks up at you. So that is your turn. Okay, so it is this one's turn over here. And he is going to beeline to get the hell out of there. And he's going to use his dash action. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then he's going to use his bonus. Okay, so this one just disappears off into the crowd.
Okay, sure.
If you wish to give chase later, you're welcome to, but for now, he's pretty far away.
How far?
30 times 90 feet.
I'm gonna use transmute rock. I believe that's rock, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stone here.
Yeah. And just wait, hold. I gotta. And try to get him to stay there, like all around him, so he can't really move.
So what are you transmuting? You're transmuting the rock into what? Into mud?
Yeah.
Okay, can you link the spell? Do you have it?
Might I also make us a mechanical suggestion? There are people around, right?
Yes, the nobles are all kind of milling around and trying to flee.
Maybe the terrain is difficult terrain.
That's true. I'll take that into consideration next round. Okay, so as this assassin makes his way out of the crowd, the ground underneath him suddenly turns into mud, and he kind of sinks down to his chest in the mud. It says, well, he wouldn't be able to make a dexterity saving throw on this round. Let's see. Any creature in the mud when it transforms.
I mean, if there's a ceiling, I would like, but I don't think there's a ceiling because it's.
No, we're
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
Okay.
On the ground, it's a strength save to not get stuck. And then if you're stuck,
Okay.
you can make another strength save to get out.
So he's definitely stuck, and he's flailing around in the mud trying to get out, but can't seem to get a grip to pull himself out. Thank you for the help, you guys. Okay, so Kamara, is that your turn?
Yep.
Charlene?
Is Zane looking hurt or dead?
At this point, Zane is on the ground, not moving. Blood everywhere. Mina is there with him though, kind of holding him.
Okay, I'm going to, I guess, do a medicine check to see how he's looking.
Okay, so a check like that during combat would act as your turn.
In action, yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay? That's what you want to do?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just an action. It's not like full round.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. You can tell that Zane is bleeding out. You can also tell that just by his pallor that there's some kind of poison involved and it's already taking effect.
Okay. From looking at that with the poison, would I get the idea that the poison would just be hurting him, or would I think it's a type of poison that would make it difficult to heal as well?
So you can't tell exactly what type of poison this is. It doesn't seem to be hurting him. There seems to be some other effect going on.
Okay. Well, I can't deal with the poison this turn anyway, so I'm gonna hope healing works. And I'm gonna use my bonus action to drop a healing spirit on him.
Okay, go ahead and roll for the healing.
1 HP.
However, that is enough to stabilize him.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that means that he's healable.
Charlene, contrary to what you expect, his eyes do not open.
Okay.
Is that your turn?
Yeah, and which direction did the assassin that ran away go?
I'm going to put it on the bottom of the map right here.
Oh.
It's technically a little further away, but
Okay. Then I'm gonna go to here. But yes, that's my turn.
It's for
Okay.
undead things.
Zane, you do not have an action this turn. I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going on with you. And I want to tell you guys out of character, I didn't tell him exactly what was happening, but I did discuss with Brett that this was a cutscene. I promise I'm not taking anything away from him. But this was known by him in advance. That
Okay.
I encourage it.
yes.
I completely believe that.
So Zane, you are
How am I feeling?
you are dreaming.
Besides-
You are dreaming and you are having the worst nightmares that you've ever had of being attacked by assassins. That is your turn. And we come to this assassin right here. From my understanding, he can use his action to try to break the prone. No, he's going to use his movement to stand up. You do not have him grappled, right, Aramil?
Correct, and it's just half his movement to get up.
Okay. So he's going to use the other half of his movement to try to run. Do you have a reaction you're going to take?
Yeah, he's going to attempt to grapple as an opportunity attack.
Okay. That is allowable within the rules, right?
Eh, probably not. Let's just do a regular attack.
Yeah, I think it's just a regular attack.
It's an iffy. It's
Yeah,
maybe.
it's technically a special attack that you can do on an attack action, and an attack of opportunity isn't. Anyway, let's just go with a normal attack.
Yeah, attack of opportunity is like a reaction, so.
Oh shit! I do.
Okay, that's a hit. For another 9 damage. He's looking really hurt already.
As he's running, Aramil will say, "If you drop your weapons here, I won't have to knock you unconscious. Your choice."
His response is a very expletive, "Fuck you." And he's dashing off. So that's the rest of his movement. He's going to use his action and bonus action. And again, I'm going to try to put him, I'm just going to put him down at the end of the map. But he is going to be 60, 75 feet away. Damn rogues. Okay, so everyone just note he's 75 feet away from Aramil, and the other one is 90 feet away from the group of you up top. Okay, Aramil, your turn. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. So, Amina spends her turn covering the arrow that's going through Zane's throat. He doesn't look like he's waking up. She's not a healer. She doesn't understand that he's not dying. So she's trying to kind of staunch the blood flow, and she's crying. Gilmore, that's how she spends her turn. Gilmore runs over and uncorks a healing potion and pours it down Zane's throat.
Oh, and if the two of them wouldn't know, Charlene would have said when she figured out that
he was poisoned, she would have shouted out, "Poisoned," just in case.
Okay, well, she didn't. So, Zane, you take another 11 points of healing.
Was I at 1 before?
You were. Most of the nobles are kind of crowded to the sides now. They're trying to find a way to get out. So there's open space between you guys and these assassins. Everyone's trying to stay the hell out of your way, realizing that these beautiful models have suddenly become instruments of death. Except for 2 of the nobles. And let me pull them. So 2 of the nobles are actually running at you guys up on the podium. You guys do not recognize. But the group of you do recognize this young girl as the one who came to visit Zane the other day, and the 2 of them went out together. So they rush up to the podium, and the one with the dark hair starts yelling at some of the guards that are kind of standing around bewildered at what just happened. And she's telling them to like close off the gates, trap them in. And the young girl rushes up to Zane and literally grabs his head out of Mina's grasp and pulls him onto her lap. Just completely ignoring Mina. Mina seems really dazed and she doesn't really react to it. I mean, she knows it's happening, but her eyes are kind of glazed. And Aramel, it's your turn.
All right. How injured did he look after getting punched and kicked around?
He looks pretty bad.
All right. Aramel's going to crouch down low for about half a second before very agilely taking a dash as a bonus action using his Step of the Wind class feature. Spends a key point, and it's almost like he's just almost become one with the air. He becomes very light on his feet and just very easily maneuvers through the crowd, hopping between rows, and can move, say, 90? 45 doubled, and that guy didn't have difficult terrain, right?
No.
So he'll follow that distance. He can even a little further past him since he started off prone.
Wow.
And
okay.
move
So
there.
you
And prone and
catch up
dash.
with
Yeah.
him.
Oh, I went into him. And Aaron will say, "Hey there, miss me?" Fortunately, it appears it's you that's gonna get fucked, not me.
Oh my god, I did not expect that from Aramel.
He doesn't like even say that with like a sneer or anything. He just says it a little matter of factly. Like if he were showing off, that's how he'd do it. Like a clever word. He's like, "Oh, this is such clever wordplay. I'm gonna throw his words back at him." Anyway.
But completely unemotional. I get it. It's funny. Okay. Is that your turn?
Oh, he's gonna punch. He doesn't get a bonus action punch, but he gets his extra action punch. Oh, I forgot to get an extra attack. Right.
So the first one misses, the second one hits.
Okay. For 10 bludgeoning.
Another 10 damage. Yeah, he goes down to his knees. You have pretty much knocked him out.
If you'll allow me, Aramel will get rid of any weapons that he may be holding on to, just in case as he falls with a swift kick. Just push him aside and make sure he doesn't move.
Do you want to do lethal damage to him?
Oh, no.
Or would you have been holding back? Okay.
It's literally just like a sucker punch to the face.
Okay, so he's down on the ground. You can't really restrain him this turn or anything like that, but
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he's going to be getting up. Kamara?
I'm gonna
You cut out. All I heard is I'm gonna.
Move. That's all I said. And I'll do 2 Eldritch Blasts at the dude in the mud.
Oh man, this poor guy. Sinking in the mud like what's the name of the horse? Atreyu?
Atreyu, yeah.
I don't think that was the horse's name.
Oh no, that was I think that was...
Arfax? Something? I don't remember, but he's sinking like the horse in the only no one's crying for him.
So I assume 12 doesn't hit, right?
12 does not hit.
22.
22 absolutely hits.
Wouldn't you have advantage because he's stuck in the mud?
That is true. What about re-roll for that first roll?
$19 plus 9, so
Okay, so both of them hit.
okay. The first one that hit 15 damage,
Okay, and the second one?
9 damage.
Nice. Okay, is that your turn?
Yeah.
Charlene?
Okay. First, another roll of healing. That's for you. 5 more. And then instead of delaying the poison, she's going to cast protection from poison on you. So I'm going to neutralize one of the poisons that is affecting him.
And it only touches one of them?
Right, one of them at random, because I don't know what poisons there are.
Okay.
Like, if it's all the same type of poison, I assume it would do all of them. But if it's different type of poison, it's only one of them.
Okay. And you can't be sure there are 5 different bolts in his body right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do that, and how does he look?
You don't notice a change. I mean, you can tell that your spell took effect, but you're not sure what exactly you neutralized. He does not wake up.
Okay. I'm also going to take out that wand of delaying poison that the metagaming pigeon told me about. I'm going to drop the wand and say, he's poisoned. This might help. And I'm going to move my 30 towards the assassins.
Okay, is that your turn?
I think so, because I think that I only have one bonus action type. Actually, before moving, I'm gonna turn into a horse. So I'll move 60 feet as a horse.
Okay. Zane, you are still dreaming.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to put these 2 assassins on the same initiative, just because I deleted the first one originally when I thought he was going to be out of range. So the one next to you, Aramil, he is down. However, this one is going to make a strength saving throw, right, Kamara?
It's just an action to get up, and then if he's still in
Right.
it at the end, it's a strength save to not sink in.
Okay, so he can just exit it?
If he's in
It
range.
takes an action.
Yeah.
But it's a 40-foot cube, and I made it around him. So once he gets out of it, he's still half movement if he uses his dash. until
And
for
Okay, so
like
that's
20 feet, I
interesting.
think.
So he uses his action to get up. Then
Yep.
he's got the 30 feet from his dash, but he can only move 15 feet of that.
Right, and
So
he's
he
still
gets-
in the mud.
well,
So he's still in
it's
the
1/4.
Yeah.
It's not 1/2.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna say that at the end of his turn, even with his dash and his bonus, or his movement and his bonus, he doesn't make it out of the mud because he's only moving like 15 feet total.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to make another strength saving throw, correct?
Yep.
Which he passes. So
Yeah.
he's still in the mud, but he's not sinking, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and that is his turn. He's only another 10 feet away. 10 feet further, I should say. And Aramel, hold that thought. So up on the podium, there's kind of a the two noblewomen and Gilmore are kind of eyeing each other, and they both, the dark-haired noblewoman and Gilmore both grab for the wand at the same time. Let's see who gets to it first. That is Gilmore. That is the noblewoman. Gilmore manages to grab it. So I'm going to say he uses his movement to grab the wand, and then he attempts to use it on Zane as well. Can you link? It's pretty much just protection from poison again, right?
It was actually a 3.5 spell.
Right. So we're just going to say it's protection from poison.
Okay.
So he casts it on Zane again, and watches as Zane's color turns a little bit better, but he still doesn't wake up. Aramel, your turn.
All right. Aramil will carefully look at the hopefully unconscious rogue
Yes, he is unconscious.
and unequip him, like take off anything that could be a threat in case he suddenly wakes up or
Now, if you want to like kick away his sword, I'll let you do that as an action. But if you're gonna actually like take everything off of him, he's got daggers and a bunch of stuff. It's gonna take your entire turn.
he's going to spend his entire turn sort of defanging this assassin, and at the end, restraining him, pulling out. Did he ever pick up that rope again?
You have twine.
He has a lot of twine, and he's going to make an impromptu rope to sort of tie this guy up. But that's
Okay.
going to take a while.
Kamara.
So she's gonna move.
By the way, Lily has taken out a handkerchief and is trying to wipe blood off of Zane's face because that's pretty much all she can do.
And she's gonna cast Toll the Dead on the mud guy. It's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
17. He makes it.
Does he take any damage?
No.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Charlene?
Okay, so now I'm like 30 feet away. Is that
Yeah.
right? It was like 90. Okay. I am going to move so I'm on the outside of the mud. I would be on the outside of the mud in the direction that he was trying to go.
So you're waiting for him.
Yeah, and then I'm going to turn back into Charlene.
Okay, just for the sake of this, this is what I'm doing.
Okay.
We're just gonna do this and then
And Cholin thinks this is probably overkill, but how would she do it if it's overkill? Why do I even have this ready? Did I pick this? Yeah, I'm going with overkill. She is going to summon 2 giant octopi.
Into the mud.
Yep. And they are going to be flanking him.
Nice.
Um,
They get action this turn.
no, technically I need to roll for initiative for them. They have a 10 initiative. They both act on the same turn.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both going to be like this. So whatever direction he goes, yeah.
So the assassin, realizing that there are suddenly tentacles rising up out of the realizes that he has gone from trying to complete this hit to a living nightmare, and he starts screaming in terror as these giant creatures rise up out of this mud pit, and you can see his face is absolutely desperate. He looks between the 2 giant tentacles that are rising, or I should say the 16 giant tentacles that are rising, and looks your direction, Charlotte, and you can tell that he's about to come your way because you're the least threatening of.
And I'm gonna say, stand down, and you won't have to deal with tentacles.
Okay, is that your turn?
Yes.
Zane, you're still in the midst of a dream. You are basically replaying the vision of seeing the blood on Nina's cheek and feeling the crossbow bolt in your over and over again. You start hearing voices. You hear the familiar voice of Lily Lenore telling you that everything's going to be okay. Okay, and this assassin. Sorry.
And he healed one more time. But that's the last of the healing because I forgot that I had that up when I summoned Octopi.
It's okay. I'm at 20 right now.
So at this point, also guards start blocking the way out of the theater. They're letting the nobles out, but they've obviously got their eyes on these 2 assassins, and some of the guards are making their way up to the podium. So at this one's turn, he's going to try to move. I didn't quite get the block of mud right, but if I understand right, he was able to move 15 feet total last round. So he's still got another 25 feet to move in order to get out of the mud. And he's moving at 1/4 speed. So he's just going to move 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. He gets right there.
He will possibly get right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
First one.
That's a hit.
Okay, so he is grappled and can't move, and the second one. So he's double grappled.
These tentacles just reach up out of the mud from the pit of despair and start wrapping around him. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
I
he's being pulled down into the mud, and let's see if he makes a con saving throw. He fails. So he is down under the mud right now. His face is buried in the mud, and he's failed his first con saving throw. So technically, he's drowning. Okay. I think for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and stop combat here because one is down on the ground and the other is incapacitated to the
yeah,
nth degree.
yeah.
Okay. So how are you guys handling these assassins now? I know one of them is stripped and Aramel's tying him up. What are you going to do about this other one, Charlene and Kamara?
We should keep him alive and take him over and see what Zane thinks when he wakes up.
I agree. And the two octopi are just going to kind of, with one tentacle wrapped around him each, kind of just going to inch out of the mud.
Okay, so they pull him out of the mud and kind of drop him on the side. He completely surrenders. He's terrified for his fucking life.
And until someone tells Charlene otherwise, the octopodes are not going to let go. They're just going to be holding on to him.
He looks up at one of them and goes, ah! And then looks away and sees the other one and goes, ah!
Charlene's going to say, don't worry, they're the least of your problems. If you tell the truth, you'll probably be fine.
You
Okay.
should really change your profession.
As they're discussing, Aramil drags his unconscious comrade or other assassin back to the center. Gives the other dude a smile, and keeps on going.
You're welcome to move them. Okay, so up on the podium, there is an argument happening right now. The guards are lifting Zane up, and Gilmore and this raven-haired lady are facing off with each other. And she's saying to him, obviously, you aren't able to provide the protection he needs right now. I have the best healers in all of Amon. And she's motioning the guards to take Zane with her. Mina is still sitting on the ground. She's sort of covered in blood, and her eyes are just completely glazed over, and she looks like wrong. Like she doesn't look right. And she's not putting up any resistance to this. The blonde-haired woman is kind of crying and like fawning over Zane as the guards are picking him up, and the black-haired woman is directing them to take him to her estate where they'll see to his healing.
Does Mina look like she's dazed because of what's going on? Or does she seem like it might be something affecting her? Like she might also be poisoned?
You can make a medicine check if you'd like. Oh, I will tell you what you know about Mina. I mean, you saw her battle with Frey.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a wimpy person.
Yeah.
But of course, she's just seen the man she cares about skewered with, half a dozen arrows. You notice the line of blood across her cheek, and you realize that one of the arrows skirted across her and hit her as it went into Zane's neck. So it could very well be that she's affected by the poison.
Yeah, Shalene's gonna touch her and just do another protection from poison using her last second level spell and see if that helps at all.
Okay. So while you're doing this other encounter is happening, and I want to resolve that before you deal with. Basically, the guards at this point have Zane, and they're walking off with him. Gilmore looks frustrated, but he's also like turning and noticing that Mina doesn't look right, and he's distracted by that. So, is anyone going to intervene, or is Zane going to be taken for healing?
Well, Charlene's whole thing was healing Mina because Mina will probably intervene if this works. So, like,
Where are you taking him?
As she turns and looks at you, Kamara, to my estate, where he'll be protected.
No, he's staying here.
She looks at you and
Put
looks
him
at the
down.
guards and just waves them to continue. And
No,
they keep
put him
walking.
down.
you could bring your healers here. He's not leaving.
Here in this area, surrounded by assassins.
No,
Aramel's going to take a deep breath and say, as a moving target, assassins would probably have a better shot at him, and movement can help start up blood flow. Normally, after you get poisoned, your slow breathing could stop the spread, but any movement could jerk him and actually make it worse. So please let him stay here. Bring whoever you would like here. Aramel just looks at her and calmly mouths off something that's probably not medically accurate.
So Mara, I want you to make an intimidation check.
I actually also want to cast suggestion as well. Do I think that she's really wise or charismatic or whatever?
She is a very beautiful, noble woman who looks like she knows what the fuck she's doing.
Okay, I'll cast it on the guard.
Oh no.
Wisdom saving throw, and I say, leave him here.
Okay. What's the DC?
17.
He fails. He starts to set Zane down on the ground. And she turns to him and gives him this glare. What are you doing? I said pick him up.
No, he's staying here.
One of the octopodes is going to let go of the assassin, so it's only being held by one person, and just meander its way over towards Zane.
Do you want me to still do an intimidation check too?
Yeah, go ahead. Do it with advantage because Charlene is kind of assisting you. And Aramel, you're welcome to make a persuasion check since you were trying to be level-headed.
19.
Oh hey, it's you.
Aramel, she doesn't seem to be paying attention to you at all. You're just a shiny guy with muscles.
He sighs and accepts his role.
And what was your role, Kamara?
19.
She looks around at the situation, and you can tell that she's realizing that it's getting the better of, with the guards not on her side anymore. She gives a sigh and gestures for the other guards to back off. Very well, but if he's injured, it's on your heads. You can't say I didn't try. The blonde hair girl is like, Mama. And she grabs the girl's wrist and starts dragging her away, but not before walking by me and saying, oh dear, you have blood all over your gaudy little gown. Gilmore crosses his arms over his chest and quips back at her and says, probably best that you be going right now. This must be a strain on such an elderly lady like you.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
She gives him... Sorry, this is Gilmore. He had to go there.
I
She
think
gives
that
him
was
the
actually in
glare.
character.
his head bobbing back and forth.
She gives him the glare of death and takes the young woman by the wrist and pulls her away. But she's actually looking really upset. Like she's crying and she's like fighting her mom, trying to get back to Zane. And the two of them exit. Wow, I had this in my mind going a whole different way.
So,
Which it's fun. I'll be adaptable. Zane, at this point, you start to feel like a foggy headedness lifting. Gilmore grabs the wand again and uses it on Zane a couple more times, and the poison is finally neutralized. So, Zane, you wake up to the chaos of nobles exiting the theater. Most of them are like freaking out, screaming. There's blood everywhere. Mina is kind of down on the ground next to you, looking dazed, covered in your blood. Gilmore's leaning over you, and you see your companions and two giant octopus hovering, covered in mud, just beyond the edges of your vision.
Never say we're not looking out for you again. Hear it? Hear me?
Do I still have the bolts in me?
You know, that is a wonderful question that I don't think has ever really been addressed in this game or in D&D in general. I would assume that they would have fallen out as your wounds healed. But for the sake of this, you're not completely healed. There could still be one or two of them in you. It is up to you in your role play.
I will look down at the and in my head canon, healing me only stops me from bleeding and heals the wound, but it leaves scars.
yeah.
So I'm just dazed at the moment. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm actually probably coughing up blood. So I'm kind of like the moment I wake up, I'm turning face down, coughing up blood, and not saying anything.
But you definitely hear what Kamara says.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there are guards here. Would the guards have taken the assassins? Not like taking them away, but like making sure that they can't leave.
Yeah, they're kind of they've kind of walked over to Aramil and they're starting to like tie them up and everything. Yeah, Mina's starting to just kind of come to and blink her eyes a little bit. Charlotte, if you'd like to make another medicine check at this point, there is an interesting point to be made if you roll very well. Okay, I'm gonna send you a whisper while the rest of you role play.
Okay.
Aramil's gonna put a hand, one on Zane and one on Ina. You guys back with us?
What the fuck happened?
I could only describe it as you tanked very valiantly for the rest of us on stage.
Sorry. Shit.
Aramil gives him
Tanked.
a leaf. It just smells nice, in case the stench of the wounds was getting to him, or the iron stench of blood. He just hands him something and says, "This may help. Just breathe. Take it one step at a time."
Oh my god. Ugh. What happened?
Oh. Huh.
What hit me? hurting everywhere.
Mina starts to crawl over to you, Zane, and pulls your head back into her lap.
Are you all right?
Yeah. And she leans over and puts her forehead against yours, and you can feel her tears hitting your cheek.
I'm sorry.
Don't be an idiot. She turns and looks at the two assassins. And I'm going to give you guys one round to convince her otherwise, because her eyes fill with fire. Like, literally, there's fire streaming from her eyes.
Just assassins. They're just in it for money.
We need to get answers from them.
We only need one of them.
Torture to make them change professions. Don't kill.
Zane, you see this happening. I'm wondering what your reaction is to it. You having been through something similar to this?
I'm gonna put my hand on Mina's cheek and kind of turn her to look at me and say, I've made this mistake before. They're most likely just poor peasants who were desperate.
The one that's conscious says, yeah, that I just needed the money for my family. I
This is what I
swear.
just said.
Don't kill them.
She grits her teeth, and the fire starts to fade from her eyes. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. As we've already gone, like, technically 45 minutes over. No, because we started at 8:30. So, okay. We did not get nearly as far as I thought we were going to. When are we going to get to the harvest?